You're being judged on 3 criteria, just to remind you. The first one is team dynamics and collaboration, so show us you like each other or you got on well today. That's worth 10% of your score. 60% is attributed to your idea strength and applicability to the topic or theme. And the remaining 30% is attributed to the practicality of the implementation. So will it actually work? Or could it work? And also, as you know, you get 3 points as a bonus for every Facebook technology tool or asset that you use in your pitch. So let me intro you to the judges here. Firstly, we have Chrissy, who you saw this morning. And as a reminder, Chrissy is the founder and creative director of Creative Conscience, a global platform that encourages and rewards creative thinking for social justice and sustainability. As a creative director, Chrissy has won a number of international industry awards for branding, has worked in fintech, is a TEDx speaker, and believes that designing creative thinking should be used to solve global challenges. And you can see her socials here. That's the Creative Changemaker social. Please, by the way, if you've not done this already, please share your experience on social media at @OneYoungWorld, #OYWEurope. Thank you. And second of all, we have Sean. Sean Sutherland is the co-founder of A Plastic Planet. Sean is a serial entrepreneur, having founded and run various businesses. She launched Plastic Planet with her co-founder Frederica Magnuson. Their first campaign to turn off the plastic tap launched 12 months ago, and urged supermarkets to give their customers a choice to buy food and drink in a plastic-free aisle. Over the last year, A Plastic Planet have met with industry legislators, materials manufacturers, and educators in their drive to reduce society's addiction to single-use plastic. In January, Theresa May, the Prime Minister, backed the campaign as part of a government 25-year environmental plan, and in February, A Plastic Planet launched their first plastic-free aisle in Amsterdam with Eco Plaza, which drew worldwide media attention. On the 5th of June, A Plastic Planet launched One Plastic Free Day to coincide with World Environment Day, and that's something we also supported at One Young World. Thirdly, James Wallace. James is the strategy director at Good Brand, an impact-led innovation consultancy that helps businesses drive long-term commercial performance by transforming their social and environmental impact. Before Good Brand, James worked in marketing strategy consulting with Clear MNC Saatchi, leading projects for clients including MasterCard, Durex, and Wagamama. Fourthly, Yulia Ognieva, who we have to thank for hosting us here today as well. Thank you very much again, Yulia. Yulia works in EMEA platform partnerships with Facebook. She drives Facebook strategy through global programs and strategic product integrations, such as augmented reality camera effects platform and the Messenger platform with partners. Prior to her current role, Yulia looked after EMEA gaming partnerships at Facebook. Before joining Facebook in 2014, Yulia managed developer relations at Tapjoy, a mobile monetization platform. Ed Gillespie, who you also saw this morning. Ed is the co-founder of Futara, a writer, communication specialist, serial entrepreneur, and futurist. He's the author of Only Planet, a flight-free adventure around the world, a book about the circumnavigation of the globe without getting on a plane. Ed's core talent is taking the complex, interconnected, interdependent nature of the many challenges the world faces, from climate change to disruptive innovation, and make common sense of them for non-specialist audiences. Ed is the co-founder of Futara, like I mentioned, a change agency that specializes in business transformation and creative communications and campaigns. For the last 17 years, Futara has become internationally renowned for its influential and award-winning work on some of the biggest corporate sustainability initiatives, from Unilever's Sustainable Living Plan through to Mondelez's Coffee Made Happy and SAB Miller's Prosper. And last but not least, Jonathan Andrews. Jonathan is the board member at Ambitious About Autism and at Stonewall. He also sits on the UK Parliament Autism Commission. Jonathan is the youngest ever board member of Ambitious About Autism and Stonewall, the largest LGBT rights organisation in Europe. He's passionate about increasing life opportunity for disabled people, sitting on the UK's government work and health expert advisory group and Parliament's Autism Commission. He has worked internationally to ensure fair access to employment for people with disabilities and non-traditional social backgrounds. So, 6 very qualified judges to evaluate your ideas today. And now, as a reminder, 3 minutes for the pitch, 2 minutes for Q&A. Many thanks. And I'm now going to pass over to Team Anand. So if you put 3 minutes on the clock, please. What? Yeah, obviously when they start, we'll start the timer.
This one. Hello? Ooh, okay.
Okay, 3 minutes on the clock. Ready when you are.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Welcome. If you haven't guessed already, we will be tackling the issue of pollution. Some stats. 12.6 million people die annually from health risks related to pollution. And we also know that the majority of people want to take action on the environment, but many people don't. But why? Convenience. So it's 2018, and we're in an era of consumer awareness and voting with our wallets. So it kind of leads us to the question of how can we change our own spending habits, but not knowing how we are spending. So that leads us to impact.
So introducing Impact. Impact is a plugin for mobile banking apps like Monzo and Revolut, which allows you to track the impact of your spending through pollution and sustainability indexes of the shops that you're shopping at, and how that sort of will affect the planet. So for those of you that don't know, Monzo and Revolut are challenger banks that are having really big growth at the moment, and they have a really strong emphasis on third-party collaboration and working with communities, and particularly developing communities. So this is a really strong opportunity, and we believe they'd be very receptive to this idea. So here's just a quick overview of the application. So you'll go onto Monzo, and we're working as a plugin for the app. So on top of the Monzo interface, you'll find our own application. And you'll see, for example, with Boots, this will give an example of their sustainability indexes and how they're doing. And the idea is that it will aggregate your information over the year, or over the week, or however often you want to see it, and see whether you're typically spending at shops which have higher rated sustainability and pollution indexes, or whether you're at shops which tend to have lower scores. So this really enables you in your daily spending to sort of understand how you are voting with your wallet, because we find that consumers often don't actually know the details behind where their money is going. So our goal is really to make it as easy for consumers to consider impact as it is their daily budgeting. We've got quite an ambitious plan. We're planning to take on Monzo first, just to sort of prove the concept, and then we'll look at more of the challenger banks. We're aware that the major financial institutions tend to have very strong requirements about who they'll work with, and they'll need us to have a track record before doing that. So we've got a strong plan to move over the next 4 years to be in a position where we can work with some of the large banks and have the biggest possible impact. We're going to work with social tools throughout. You can like our Facebook page, which is live right now, facebook.com/impactxu, and we'll be using tools throughout the application, so you'll be able to post to Instagram and Facebook your scores, and you'll also be able to share the program with your friends. Finally, in terms of sustainability, we're going to have very strong impact towards the Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay. Well done. Very well done. Not easy to go. Not easy to go first. Okay. So let's keep this moving. Judges, anyone? James, do you have the microphone? Do you have a microphone? You switch that one on. Which number is that? Number 3.
Number 3. Great job, guys. Really extraordinary piece of work. Big question about where the data comes from for impact there. Oh, fantastic. We just didn't get that.
Yeah, so this is one of our challenges. This is one of the challenges that we've sort of identified is data validity and making sure that we're benchmarking and that getting consistent data across different shops and retailers and things. So what we identified is that we need to collect data from lots of different sources and use some sort of robust data analysis to be able to ensure that we're using it like, consistently and accurately. So we've seen some other platforms that do this already. It's a mammoth task at the beginning, which is why we've sort of got long-term plans rather than let's launch this next week. But I've just put some of the organisations on there that we could look to collect data from. There's quite a lot of public data. There also may be, as this progressed, companies that would be willing to give us their data to show how good they are, because one of the things we didn't go on to was the fact that actually to incentivize people to use this, we could give discounts to customers and say, right, well, instead of you shopping in this coffee shop, shop in this coffee shop instead, you can have a 20% discount on your coffee, so actually you're improving customer habits and encouraging them to shop in different places. So that would then in turn mean that X coffee shop would give us their data.
Okay, we've got 1 minute 45 for another question. Ed, maybe Ed and Sean, you can join your questions together and the team can respond.
Very quick. I'm really interested because there's lots of different versions of this kind of thing out there in some ways. There's one called Boycott, and I know Channel 4 were developing one years ago, which was a barcode scanner, which was basically called Are They Bastards? And you could just kind of go on to the product. But I think the really clever thing that I like that you've done is tying it into banking. I wonder, what was the inspiration behind doing it financially?
And Sean, your question as well before we...
A little bit different, which is which kinds of impact are you measuring? Because that's a hugely varied list there. And I don't know if you thought that maybe you'd start with one particular one and then evolve, because you're never going to be able to measure and police all of them at one time.
Yeah, so I start with Sean's question first. So the scope we identified initially was probably carbon, so sort of carbon impact, looking at carbon trust, carbon disclosure project, those kind of things to get that data. And the advantage of this would be that you'd be able to scope it out. So if you wanted to move broader than carbon and look at ethical trade or some other environmental credentials, you could do that. But kind of initially we were thinking sort of carbon footprint, because that's the pollution thing as well, kind of linking it back into the pollution question. With the barcode thing, we were just looking at like, what is the easiest thing for me to do? Do I want to scan every single thing I buy, or actually is my location data and my banking data like a really good way of me to do this effortlessly so that I've got that? So that's kind of where it came from. And then we started to like kind of took it broader to see how we could fit into that.
Great, thank you. And I heard judges 2 Facebook products in that presentation, I believe, so a couple extra bonuses there. Well done, Team Anan. Next up is Team Chow, who are going to talk to us about mental health. And on deck, so the team after that, are Team Jones. So, in case anyone was wondering, you will have the opportunity to run your presentation off your own computer. So, if you want to do that, you're welcome to. You're not expected to, but if you want to do that, you can. So, next up, Team Chow. And then on deck, Team Jones. This is Team Chow, mental health. There should be one over here. Just you guys, someone got. Oh, that's one. Nice England, Colombia. Football. Score draw. Extra time. So the team, if anyone's wondering, the team names are named after One Young World councillors. So James Chow, famous Chinese broadcaster. Team Jones, co-founder David Jones of One Young World. Anan, hopefully people get that one. Madonsela, Tuli Madonsela, South African Justice. Paul Pullman. Eunice Mount Eunice. Hastings is Lord Michael Hastings, who's a very loyal councillor based in London. Team Watson is Emma Watson. Team Buto is Fatima Buto. famous writer and gender equality activist. Team Landau is John Landau, famous film producer from Hollywood, did Avatar and many others. And I've not been at the time. Alright, so we've got 3 minutes on the clock. Team Chow, over to you.
So Haifa is a Yazidi woman whose life was completely destroyed by ISIS in August 2014. Her husband, her brother and her father was killed in front of her. Her sons were taken to become child soldiers, and her daughter was sold on as a sex slave and raped. Haifa herself was forced into marriage. She was also raped and had a baby. She was forced to leave the baby when she came back to the Kurdish region to be placed in a camp. And she found herself in our women's centre, the Lotus Flower Centre, completely traumatised. So in Kurdistan, after ISIS went in the region, 2.6 million people were displaced and they're refugees, completely traumatised. The host population is 5 million, so overnight we had 7.6 million people there. And in terms of therapists in the region, we've actually got about 900 therapists in the region. So in terms of the ratio, you've got one therapist for 2,800 people. So the demand for the need for therapists is extremely high, but the supply is extremely low.
Currently, there are more than 68.5 million refugees and IDPs in the world, and half of them are children, less than 18 years old, and there are no currently, and those are the ones who are high risk of the mental health problems, and there are no tools to address those. And Facebook having 2 billion people, users, and Facebook Messenger, we found during our discussion that it can be a great solution for that.
So we've got a super simple solution, which is enhancing a pre-existing Facebook technology. So we're going to add and develop on the Facebook Messenger platform. So our solution is to add a mental health initiative into it. So it will work by having a user profile, so that could be a refugee in our case, and a therapist profile with your needs. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a bot which has an underlying algorithm which connects the users to a therapist. So we're offering a personalised service which will give you mental health as and when you need it at the instant. So I'm going to quickly talk you through our user journey. So you would open the app and you would be presented with a menu from which you can choose the gender, the language and your services. So the services could be entered as a text, so you could say domestic violence or abuse or conflict. And then you'll be presented with a list of profiles of the therapists meeting those requirements who are available right now to talk to. Following that, you can choose your method of communication, so video communication, writing your messages or a phone call. You would have the therapy session, and then following the therapy session, you will receive an automated email which will.
Well done, Team Chow. So judges there's a record number of displaced people in the world. Clearly, there's a massive mental health challenge around the world as well. Chrissy, any reflections, any questions? No, you're not. But you can ask a question and they can answer by showing one of their slides as an appendix type thing. But well, this is saying otherwise we'll be here all night.
Yeah, no, okay.
Here you go. Or do any of the judges have a question? Jonathan.
Right, so I thought it was a really interesting presentation. I was just wondering, do you know what kind of regulation, if you are sort of envisaging this, to make sure that the therapists, the people are contacting, are sort of trained to do so, and maybe able to meet the needs of people, because if it's going to be a global service, obviously people can be very sort of different environments, situations, and have you thought about that?
Yeah, so we thought about this quite extensively, and one of the requirements that we would have for our therapists is for them to be professionally qualified, and we would add an accreditation system, so you could only sign up to be a therapist if you are fully qualified in your country. And we also would have like rigorous identity verification techniques. So there's lots of stuff online. I know Experian are making a identity verifying service, like government and stuff. So it's all available. It's all out there. We just need to bring it together.
James.
So something to add to that point is obviously we're very familiar with organisations like Médecins Sans Frontières who very much deliver physical medical assistance on the ground, on the front line. What we realised with mental health and what kind of came about was that often with mental health we know that it is often seen as an invisible kind of problem and an invisible illness. Also one that sufferers will often hide behind a phone or a curtain or a veil or whatever it is because of the stigma attached to talking about it. So for us this is seen as a way for junior practitioners in psychology and psychiatry to sign up and build their sort of pro bono work, so to speak, by making themselves available via Facebook Messenger to profile their services. But it's also a fantastic way for NGOs on the ground in areas that don't have in Kurdistan, for example, in areas of Africa, India, whatever, to be able to promote their services and connect to people because they don't have the budgets to be able to advertise or to be able to reach out. So the given fact that, you know, Taban's first-hand experience of her work in Kurdistan resulted in her seeing that every single refugee, no matter how rich or poor, obviously not so rich, but whatever their situation, they all had a phone and they all used Facebook to talk to each other. So we realised that the solution was actually in their hands. We just need to be able to find a way to connect them.
Okay, 45 seconds for one more question.
That answered my question.
Julia, there's another one. Set your feet there.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering what is the other side, like the therapist experience looks like.
So we did think about this. So like a lot of our stuff was what's in it for the user, but what's in it for the therapist. So they're getting that accreditation, they're building up their online profile, especially if you're a junior and you've just started off your counselling career or your therapist career. Like it's a really good way to start building up your reputation, your presence, and getting like a really valuable volunteering experience. And actually, there are therapists around the world that want to provide that help, but there's no app.
Thank you so much. Team Chow. Okay, so up next is Team Jones, Disability and Inclusion. And then on deck, next up after them is Team Casey, famous disability rights activist and Irish Ashoka Fellow. Caroline Casey. Guys, I'm not going to interrupt you. If you give long answers, that's kind of down to you. If you give a short answer, then you get to answer more questions.
Hi everyone, my name's Ozzy and I'm here from Team Jones. So we decided to look at the issue of diversity and inclusion around disability, and specifically we focused in on the term inclusion. How can we use mobile phones as a gateway device to make a more inclusive digital space and digital access for people with neurodiversity? And when we say neurodiversity, we're talking about a range of different conditions, from autism to dyspraxia, but we specifically focused on dyslexia because 10% of the global population have dyslexia. Now, I want to emphasize that again. That's 760 million people worldwide have a difficulty processing linguistic information, be that visual or be that audio. That is a huge number of people. And if we can find a small and simple solution to help them get online, if they're not already online, but access online content and connect with their friends and family around the world in a better, more easy way for them, that's a huge benefit we can bring to the world. And so our solution is a very simple mobile accessibility feature. On all of our smartphones, for every one of us in the room and everyone around the world, there are accessibility features, but none of them feature any specific ones around neuro. users coming from. And if we can, and the confidence with which more people, almost a 750 million people, can get online and can connect, that can help us achieve our goal of building more inclusive digital spaces. We also help Facebook achieve their goal of finding their next billion users. So we're asking all of you to help us help people see differently by turning on their glasses. Thank you.
Very well done. All right, judges, 3 minutes on the clock. Chrissy looks like she needs a microphone. Ladies, you've got 2, just at your feet if you don't mind. No, if you just pass them along, that would be perfect.
So what I'm really interested in, I'm dyslexic, I'm only reading rights, but you mentioned that this is for lots of neurodiversity. So the idea would be, if I imagine this right, that you would have a feature that was for dyslexics, a feature that would help people with autism or with different ADHD. Is that the vision for it?
Definitely. Yeah, so originally we were like, let's do one size fits all, dyslexia, dyspraxia and autism, but then we realised, no, let's get the dyslexia bit right first, and then take the learns from that, and then go on to dyspraxia and autism. That's the approach that we will take. So first you focus on dyslexia, because they're all on the spectrum, and they all kind of, so once you get one right, you can kind of then focus on the other two.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Also, reason being that I'm dyslexic as well, and there are already kind of softwares and platforms that kind of offer help. So there's one that you can get for the filters, and that's how I found out I work with Pink. But it's all separate and nobody knows about it. So to have something that was built in with your device and that could learn your habits and learn when to come on and which apps would be just a lot more efficient.
Thank you. Thank you for a really sort of interesting presentation there, and something which is very close to my heart and my interest. I think you've already touched on it in the presentation, but very much about how are you going to get those companies like Facebook, who is buying you need, to really see the benefits of this. And I find this is sort of one of the really key points when you actually sort of come up to pitching this kind of thing. Could you maybe go into a bit more detail about what you're planning to do that to show them why it's sensible to buy?
Sure, I think to start with, as Ozzy mentioned, 10% of the world's population has dyslexia, and for us, we see this as unfulfilled potential. If we looked at it from a business perspective, every year the UK economy loses out 10 billion because these people don't have the same access to opportunities, and there is a real digital divide. So, for instance, for Facebook, you will have more meaningful engagement with the platform, and it enables more people to connect in a meaningful way.
And also these companies will probably impact it themselves because they will have employees that will probably be suffering as well from one of these conditions. And I think with conditions that we are catering here, they come under invisible disabilities, so we can't see them, so we can't really support what we don't know. So what we're actually driving here is making these big companies think about inclusion from the get-go, from the creative thinking of when they actually build their phone, because it's actually built in the settings. So we think that that would drive change, certain attitudes that we have towards disabilities such as.
Thank you so much. You guys, well done. You don't, but you should. So one of the team will help you with that. All right. Next up is Team Casey. Named after Caroline Casey, the disability rights activist. Look out for Valuable, a campaign scored by 1 Young World. It's all over the internet.
Sorry,
So after Team Casey, on deck is Team Madon Zira. Wherever you are. Keep going, sir. So Team Madon Zira, you are after this one. How'd you go? Simple as this. Okay, so Team Casey, 3 minutes on the clock. On you go.
Hi, I'm Team Casey. I'm going to show you a quick video on Spotlight.
Spotlight is our project. This is our team very quickly. This is our agenda for today. So we started off by thinking about the challenges. I'm Eleanor, I'm very passionate about sustainability, yet here I am with my plastic bottle, and I really don't know which action to take to make a positive impact. So I'm passionate about it, but I am into a passive mindset, like probably most of us. I lack an understanding of how my action and consumption pattern really impact the environment, like a real quantification. And finally, I am overloaded with information, yet they're fragmented and sometimes inaccessible. So here's our solution.
Spotlight is designed to integrate with a Facebook plugin for a virtual intelligent assistant.
Very much. Okay, let's keep this train moving. Next up, Team Pullman. Paul Pullman, famous executive from the Netherlands. Caroline Casey, #value. So we now have Team Pullman, and on deck, Team Eunice.
So emotional.
I'm like, what am
When we're tallying up, I'm going to come to you as you to give some reflections of what you've seen. What's like things you liked, things to watch out for. You didn't hear the whole conversation. Like you said, I really like this, but
We'll be giving you more support.
okay, that was quick. Okay, Team Pullman. Ready? Oh, technical issues. Okay, here we go. 3 minutes on the clock.
Is this the cutoff?
Okay, we're ready. We're ready. Team Pullman.
So I have a friend called Joe, and he is autistic, and he has been struggling for the past 2 years to find employment because people have been assuming that because he has one disability that he is completely unable to perform a job, and that's actually, he's not alone in that scenario. We have 1 billion people who are, sorry, yes? Thank you. We have 1 billion people who have a disability worldwide, and 50%, which is 500 million people, are living with a disability and less likely to be employed.
So therefore, we are in a mission of creating a future of unbiased recruitment, where skills are the basis of employment. So therefore, we developed the Facebook Messenger chatbot called Networker, which connects recruiters with skilled individuals. So now our friend Joe, who is a skilled who's a skilled mathematician and can find a job. So we will demonstrate this now with our demo version.
So Joe's written, I'm an autistic mathematician, can you help me find a job? He enters that into his Facebook Messenger. Yes, in fact, I have 3 companies that have considerations for autism and are looking for mathematicians, so they are looking for your skill set. Pick one of them to learn more about them. Here we have the 3 companies that we have so far partnered with: Facebook, One Young World, and One Extra, and we have selected Facebook here. So Anna from Facebook has replied here, which is an automatic bot. I'm Anna from Facebook, talent sourcing. I would love to meet you. Let's connect. We click yes, and then yes and subscribe if we'd like to get a notification if other jobs similar to this job also come in, and they'll get notified through their Facebook Messenger.
So, how are we going to do this? First, what impact are we looking for? We want to reduce unemployment among people with disability, for sure. This is our main mission. Second, we want to drive diversity within companies in the workplace. And finally, we want to objectify the recruitment process. How would we do that? Using, of course, artificial intelligence, Facebook Analytics, Facebook Messenger platform, as we just showed you, and finally, a chatbot. Firstly, we'd use a beta testing, just like this one.
Thank you very much. Okay, judges, there's a lot going on there, so who's got a question? James, perhaps, or Jonathan? Some mic just there at your feet.
Great stuff, thank you guys. I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about the implementation process.
Great. So first we talked about a beta version and prototyping, which is exactly what we showed you here. And then we would like, because we target actually two parties, right? The disabled people and companies. So disabled people is probably not going to be a problem to target, but companies, how do we convince them? So we thought of actually targeting big companies, large companies such as One Young World or Facebook, right? Because they actually usually lead change in such a good way. So we would count on them to lead example.
One more. To what extent do you think this addresses the major drivers of exclusion from employment among disabled people? It feels like a solution, but maybe not necessarily one that addresses the fundamental underlying issue or issues.
What's the fundamental issue according to you?
Well, I don't know.
Jonathan, perhaps you'd like to comment?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same kind of theme, but I mean, this has been a really good presentation in terms of showing how you're going to reach out to disabled people and really link, people up with the jobs that are available. I'm thinking, have you thought about how to work with companies to make sure that the recruitment processes that they're using to hire people are fair, so that people aren't being told to apply and then being screened out because they're sort of being judged in a way that doesn't really match their skills?
Definitely.
So we actually spoke, being in the building, with a recruiter at Facebook and worked with her to decide how we could potentially implement this into their recruitment process and to make it in an inclusive way. And very simply, when a job offer comes up, it would be about that. Well, I mean, at the moment, there's places that they go, maybe LinkedIn or somewhere else, or to post the job. And one of the places that they would also go to is to us, to Networker, and that would mean that we would be able to put it out to the people that we have on our database and ensure that we are just being inclusive of all abilities and not just the ones that can be found on the usual ones that exist right now.
So that would be exactly a solution, but also why would they actually hire disabled people, right? We have a sort of rewarding system that consists in giving companies badges that shows that they actually support diversity. And nowadays we no longer really want to work for money, but for companies that support interesting causes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Judges, tally up your scores, please. And up next is Team Units, named after Professor Mohammed Yunus of Bangladesh. And then on deck, Team Hastings. There are 14 teams in total who are listening this morning. Hence the time to show.
Is this yours? No, after.
This is halfway. Game of two halves. Football. World Cup feeling. Three, 5-2. Is it going to work against Colombia? Not sure. Ready? Okay, here we go. Team Units.
Good afternoon, and my name is David. I'm from Liechtenstein, so sorry for my English. We would love to welcome you to our pitch of tech. I assume that most of you came across of this sentence, or maybe also of these words, but to show you an example that every bottle counts, and to show you a particular example how much waste 100 people in 8 hours can produce, we took a picture of our bin outside. This is the waste we produced today. only 100 people. And to give you the numbers over the UK, there are 400 plastic bottles per household and per year, which only are 217 are recycled. And there are 1.1 billion single-use carrier bags sold every major retailer in the UK, and 80% of landfills is recyclable plastic. So think about that.
So what we're planning on doing is we're creating an app which is linked into which aims to educate customers, encourage sustainable packaging practices, and has a rewards loyalty system at the end of it. We're going to do that by people going into the app, searching for a brand or keywords, and also checking which is linked into a set of criteria. So the plastic composition, whether it's recyclable, whether it's biodegradable, whether it's been already reused, and whether you can get it from refills. So that's going to give you a rating based on how green it is, and that will go into giving, that will give you an informed decision about what you're doing with purchasing a product. And then I'm going to hand you over.
So this might either happen in store or online. And what then happens is CleoBot, so an app, a service within Facebook, tracks the purchase history, and points are given for sustainable packaging choices. So say, for example, you've bought a refill, or you've bought something that's made out of biodegradable materials, then you'll get more points. And then essentially at the end of it, you can see your personal progress, track against your friends, so there's a bit of gamification, like a fun competitive element in there, and claim rewards, for example, discounts from eco-friendly brands. So we want everyone to know the difference they can make with a monthly breakdown to show their impact. So I think everyone can make a difference, but not everyone believes they can. So using other brands as inspiration.
Alright, judges, halfway through, keep your questions brief, please.
Cool.
Julia?
Quick question. Thanks for putting this together. I think so far we're halfway through the presentations where it is really clear that the world needs some sort of a surface to be able to track their personal impact. So I'm just really curious, how have you thought about the inputs into the algorithm, or the reward system? What makes one action more valuable than another, or make
Or something like that as well.
Cradle to cradle, which I've mentioned to a few groups today, and it's really worth looking into what they do. And there are products like Method that have zero impact on the planet, so maybe that's someone that you could work with.
Quick reflections from one more judge, perhaps Sean or James. We'll give you a couple extra seconds.
As an organisation that has introduced the first plastic-free consumer trust mark recently, I know how incredibly arduous it is to rate all of these things. And there are millions and millions and millions of products out there, and if you're actually scoring everything around those, do you have any idea how you would scale this up?
Great question. Pick it up in the refinery pub. We will be at the refinery, which is only 8 floors down from here. It's literally underneath us. Okay. All right. I believe this is going to be Team Hastings. Number 8. And on that, Team Watson. All right, everybody, grab your seats, please. Grab your seats, settle down. All right, here we go. Team AC, 3 minutes in the clock.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be speaking about how the biggest platform is going to take on one of the biggest problems in society today, mental health. So the biggest platform, Facebook. What colour is Facebook? Blue. And what colour do you usually associate with unhappiness, sadness? So blue. So we've just had an international call from Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, and we've got permission to transform Facebook yellow. So Facebook Yellow is a global campaign tackling mental health head-on. The campaign is going to introduce people to how to challenge and combat mental health through an online platform which provides resources to tailor to your mental health needs. So this is going to consist of a yellow pages, which is a directory of all the mental health services that you can access, and also it's going to be a series of events and activities to help you tackle your personal mental health challenges. Now I'm going to pass on to my lovely team, who's going to take it from there.
Why do we need this? So 50% of mental health disorders develop before the age of 14, 75% of which before the age of 24. There's already, imagine if we could connect those 2 billion users of Facebook with the amazing resources which are already available.
Isn't it amazing, guys? Let's see how we are going to make this happen practically. So, as you see, it's yellow, right? This is going to, people will pay attention to this, you can't miss it. So once this is all yellow up there, on the 10th of October, which is the Mental Health Awareness Day, afterwards we'll put an information box here. And in this information box, we will want everyone to have a global discussion with the hashtag Facebook Yellow. And we are going to change the algorithm so you not only see the posts of people, the friends, the contacts you have on Facebook, but everyone's all across the globe. You can read everyone's stories about their mental health problems, their mental health difficulties.
These are all online ideas for our campaign, but we also want to take it offline and into the real world. We know that a lot of people who suffer from mental health, one of their main problems is loneliness. So we want to combat that by creating real-world communities. We can do that via 3 different ways. First of all, we can create fundraising events based around the theme of yellow. You can do dress-up days with people dressed in yellow, create charity events, fundraising in schools and
local areas are running events, all sexy or successful people with dyslexia, etc. Just trying to beat the stigma, really. And then the other option was that also we would introduce a new feature so that for dyslexic
day and the kind of environment that people are going in when they go into Facebook, and we see that okay, the text is different, and it's like what's going on, what's happening, and how we kind of record this kind of environment. So as this goes on here, we'll just bring you a little experience that you can also go through. But again, when we're talking about this, we're creating an environment whereby the public are in the shoes of those who are dyslexic.
Not a long time. That's probably a good thing. Okay, judges. Jonathan, you're yet to see the visual aid, but maybe you've got a question. So the microphone's at your feet. Lovely. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really, really interesting presentation. And my sort of question on this is, when you're looking at the campaign that you're doing, have you thought about how you might want to involve people with dyslexia or other sort of conditions in that process, and how you can allow their voices to be heard, as well as educating people who might not experience those disabilities?
So we talked about prototype stage before launching this campaign on Facebook. We liaised with societies such as the British Association for Dyslexia and other NGOs, professionals and lay members who may have these learning disabilities, and talk to them. So to get the correct information, to educate the public using correct information on disabilities, at the same time integrating features that they want, not just features that are accessible or easy to make, so that whatever we make is suitable at the end when we launch it. It's not just about making it, which talked about pretty.
Any questions from the judges?
No, I'm just curious. I think that empathy is really, really important. So I really love what you've done there. Something we do internally at Facebook for our employees is called 2G Tuesdays, where we reduce the bandwidth of our messenger apps so people can empathize with people in third world countries and much lower bandwidth and stuff like that. So I think this idea is really, really powerful. I'm just curious to learn more about the actual conversation and the chatbot. What's the technology that's behind it? How are you going to personalize the experience? What is going to be the content of the chat conversation?
Yeah, so that was our call to action. It was similar to the Microsoft Word, that little thing that used to give people help. So we called it SAM. Yeah, it was called SAM, Social Accessible Media, and it was also a chatbot. So people would click on it, and it would talk them through about about dyslexia or about color blindness or about whatever they could see. It would just be very factual information and lead them to further sources.
I just add, sorry, that the idea was that this chatbot could be rolled out across any social media platform, so starting with Facebook, but we could easily use it for, say, YouTube, looking at visual impairments, or hearing impairments, or else Instagram, for instance, changing that interface as well. And again, using the same chatbot and just doing that at random times throughout the year, so that again is just shocking people, they don't know what's going on. So it creates a huge PR campaign and just raises awareness.
That was Team Watson, and coming up next, Team Buto, and on deck, Team Landau. So Team Buto is Team 10 of 14. Okay, ready? Okay, 3 minutes on the clock. Here we go.
When you look at this photo, this merely might be a disgusting scenario for all of you, but this is the everyday reality of my home. So in Dhaka city, the capital of Bangladesh, as of 2018, 14 million plastic bags get dumped in public spaces every day. I repeat, every day. Funnily, in 2002, Bangladesh became the first country in the world to ban plastic bags. Clearly did not work. And as a matter of fact, as I talk right now, in every rainy season for 6 months, Dhaka city goes literally underwater because all the drains are blocked by plastics like this, and this is actually a river. So we decided that you need to be loud and visible for making people care, because people don't know and they don't care. We will utilize the youth population in universities of Dhaka and make the city care. How we are going to do it, you are going to find out soon. And the aim of this project would be to at least incorporate 60% of the universities in Dhaka, a city which has at least 48 universities, to participate in this campaign, which according to us is a smart and simple solution with a big impact.
So what's the campaign? So leveraging the youth power and the youth that we have in the universities, we're going to do a hashtag Clean Up Dhaka. So essentially, each university is going to compete against each other. We're going to have a twofold competition. So the first part of the competition will be to collect to not just the students, but to mobilise and collect as many plastic pollutants that are around the city. When they're collecting it, they're going to tag themselves in a picture, they're going to use the hashtag, and they're also going to use the geolocation so they know exactly where it's being collected. They're going to collect all of the rubbish and all of the plastic rubbish that they're looking for within the university. The second part of the competition is that they need to make an art piece. The art piece then will, within a time frame, the art piece will then have to be made a photograph of and then publicised, and then it's the amount of likes that they're going to get. So what we're looking at
the 3 criteria: the hashtag volume of the momentum that they're picking up within the whole of the campaign. So how many locations that they're picking up the rubbish, how many hashtags they're doing, the amount of plastic physical volume that they're collecting, and also the amount of likes that they get on their photograph at the end of the art piece that they have. There is a prize.
So the prize is we decided to utilize the One Young World Network, and because Mohammed Yunus hails from Bangladesh, so we are going to make him do what he does the best, social business. So the prize is whoever wins, whichever university wins, gets an endorsed social business hub supported by Mohammed Yunus.
So we have some long-term goals. So what we do some check-ins with Facebook, so 6 months after the campaign. If anyone's passing through any of the geotagged locations, Facebook will pop up and ask, is this area still clean? So then we can keep on checking to see how much sustainability there is, and we would also repeat the program over every 3 years. So that would be 3 winners for the Yunus Prize.
Amazing. I like the geolocation. Ed.
Lovely campaign. Great in terms of the clean-up stuff. What about the upstream, though? You know, because obviously you can see the brands and logos on all those bottles there. How about flipping it back onto the elimination or the responsibility upstream of the people who are actually making the bottles in the first place?
Absolutely, and that was actually where we started, and we figured we started out with a campaign that would reduce the amount being used and put pressure on corporates to stop producing the plastic in the first place and use alternatives. But what we figured is that actually that's a bit too far along the line still, and what we need to do first is to raise awareness of the issue at all and say that, you know, throwing your bottle out there, that plastic doesn't biodegrade. So that's why we've gone for this to start with, and then it's part of a much bigger picture, which is to say then we need to start reducing, then we need to start targeting corporates and using the public momentum to put pressure on not just corporates but government as well to start changing what they're doing.
Sean, any thoughts?
I love the idea of focusing on universities, because that's such a great momentum that you can build up, and obviously that's the generation that are going to inherit the mess that we've made. I think exactly your point of how can you put more pressure on the brands, because
So there will be 3 to go after this. So we're in the home stretch. So good news, bad news. Well, there will be no Q&A for the remaining 4 teams owing to titles. We have to close up by 8. Good news. Okay, maybe 1. It's up to you, you're the host, so whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. Alright, ready? Ready, steady, go.
Okay, hello everyone. So research shows that the key to happiness is being able to form meaningful, deep connections. Lacking these connections can lead to harm in your life, but also lead to death. We live in a world with likes, with hearts, with double taps, and instead of communicating, we use these to engage. Is that meaningful enough? We collect Facebook friends, but don't necessarily engage with them. We want to change that through our app, which allows you to create more deeper and meaningful relationships. Let me hand over to show you how.
So we created an AI-powered app that encourages chatting with old Facebook friends. It's small, fun, and we think it's very effective, just like our team actually. So we want to deepen connections, we want to reconnect with old friends, create a forum, so we can talk about these issues, right? We believe in fundamental human nature. It's about conversing. Start a conversation, and you can have a relationship. Strengthen a relationship, and you'll have happiness and mental well-being in the long run. And that's our belief. But let me show you how it goes. Introducing Reconnect. So you sign up with Facebook, that's 3 points. Our system gets your friends list and it's a smart interest map, right? So these are selected through your data API. I haven't spoken to Mark for 10 years. We went to Lisbon last month, but we didn't chat, and I don't speak to my dog because I'm a bad person. So yeah, I want to speak to these 3 people, and then we want to really know your emotion right now. Are you happy? You're lonely? If you're lonely, maybe we'll put you up in the friends list for other people to chat to. More likely you'll get reached out to. So it's implicit, it's quite useful. So let's chat to Mark Zuckerberg, and we're putting a person in control here. So I can chat to him, I can reshuffle and go next, or I can chat later. So that's really important to a user.
So once you've used our app, you then are taken to a messenger bot on Facebook, and you start with a conversation. So you've got a icebreaker, which is the fact they went on holiday, and then we're going to talk about it. From there, we also use NLP, so that's natural language processing, and AI to kind of give quick replies. So for example, is there anything I can do to help them?
Make the world a more open and connected
Okay, one clear question, or you can also finish that sentence you want. Up to you.
Well, no question.
Anyone got a quick question? Okay, well done. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Let's keep it.
Team Marco up next on the deck.
Okay, so next up, Team Robinson, and on deck, Team Marco. Which means Team Trudeau, you're last. Alright, sorry, Raj, Team Rosie.
Approach by using environment. Employees can connect with other individuals or existing employees that have similar invisible or part of them who identify themselves as invisible minorities. And the tool that we're going to use. So initially we're going to use the game modules within Facebook Messenger. We also want to eventually use Facebook Workplace. And for the gamification, we want to use ELF, which is an AI tool within the Facebook platform, that is more AI machine learning to help evolve the game so that it is always challenging and itself kind of it's not repetitive for users. Going to the slide.
So this is kind of how we envisage the timeline. 12 months as a regular, so 3 months in the design stage, 3 months for implementation, and then another 6 months there, and then 3 months at the end for the rolling out across the businesses. Resources, so envisage the resource being cost, so leadership buy-in, technology integration, education awareness, data understanding current organisation demographics, research, pay gaps, and standardization, change management within organizations. So we need developers, senior leadership buy-in again, so we help by government backing as most better when it's regulation driven and compliance, quotas there, funds to do that, tools, internal, external, and training and awareness.
So our target is increase 10% of persons living with disabilities within the UK workforce by 2025.
Thank you very much. One clear question. Jonathan, there's a microphone just there next to James's feet.
Thank you. That was a really interesting piece about how people with disabilities can be assisted in this way. Given that the focus of this was invisible minorities, have you thought about how this might also be applicable to other sort of visible minorities like LGBT people or those from different social backgrounds?
Yeah, so this is to capture that wider net of skill set that doesn't necessarily fit the current model of recruitment, which assessment centres, for example, graduates or experienced hires. So this kind of captures it through analytics of the games to understand the aptitude and abilities that goes to excel in other areas of the normal model. In terms of that other wider set, which is anonymization, so with the chatbot element of that platform we're building on an external website for the, let's say, KPMG example, we could build a website and we could have individuals interact, and you can anonymize individuals, so you don't see the name and you don't see the ID. All it is about your skill set, your ability, how you value adding to the business.
Thank you very much, guys. Well done. That's you. Thank you. The penultimate team, Lucky 13, Team Marco. Also want to say, it's in the guide, but all the teams are presenting these ideas own the IP to these ideas, so no thieving. The teams that present these ideas, they own the IP, so take it seriously. Like, this is a really serious thing, and I think you guys are doing a great job. So hope you two go on to work them up. Yes, it's pressing, right? Okay, ready? 3 minutes on the clock. Team Marco.
Okay, so let's have a quick show of hands. Please raise your hand if in the last 24 hours you have consumed a product packaged in plastic. Just like this. Most of us, and please keep your hands raised for a second. So, and keep in mind that this...
Time.
Oh, I'll take that. Please keep in mind that this is a safe space and there's no judging, right? So keep your hands up. And out of all of you, who would like to reduce the amount of plastic that you consume? Pretty much everyone, right? That's all of us. So if you, like me, have seen images like this on Facebook, on Instagram, then you've probably thought there must be a better way for us to make informed consumer decisions and to avoid this kind of thing happening on a global scale. Now, our research shows that 90% of people want to reduce their plastic consumption. And in tandem, 40% of consumers would actually pay more for less plastic packaging.
So what we want to introduce to you is Plasticless. Plasticless is an app that not only raises awareness and educates people, inspires people on how to on the impact that plastic has on the environment and how to improve their behaviors, but especially delivers an improved shopping experience that allows people to have a more plastic-friendly basket. So this is how it works. Basically, the way we do it is we partner with retail loyalty cards to gather the data on their shopping basket, and we build a profile where you can see the plastic consumption of a person and the percentage of plastic in your basket. The way it works, basically, what the tool that we provide is an alternative shopping basket where you can see alternatives to what you're buying right now that are either plastic-free or with less environmental impact. What you can do is, if you build a more plastic-friendly basket, you accumulate points by reducing your plastic consumption over time. And with these points, what you can do is you get access to exclusive rewards. And these rewards can be discount in these retailers what you buy. It can be donation to a social cause involved in plastic, or it can be gifts, of course, plastic-free. So this is how we don't have any programmer in the team, but this is how the So the point we want to strengthen as well is that, of course, we will link with Facebook. An important point is that we'll link with Facebook, and not only you can share your progress, you can share the work you're doing to reduce plastic consumption with your friends, but we can also use all of Facebook tools. For example, a Facebook Messenger tool where you can ask more questions around plastic, like a chatbot, etc. Or we can do work around AR. And then there are other features that I've talked about. You can choose to donate, you can connect your loyalty cards. This is kind of what a draft app could look like.
So we are seeking funding from investors, and we plan to monetize the app through retailer ads on plastic-free products, but also our online store. Yes, we'll have one. Now, we're also launching a massive awareness campaign on Facebook, but I want to sum up and say why is this important? It enables consumers to make informed purchases, and while we provide alternate options, the consumers can use their purchase power to force retailers to change. And we can explain more about that.
I'm going to take MC's frogs and say you had slightly longer than 3 minutes. You're not getting a question. Okay, Team Trudeau. Here we go. Last team. Judges tallying up. Last team. I think I heard 3 different Facebook products mentioned in the last team. That was pretty impressive. Sharon didn't say it earlier. Okay. Team Trudeau. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Hey guys, we're Team Trudeau. I'm Shuyu, and this is Darna, this is Nicolette, and this is Tarma. And we also have a missing team member, Callum, whose idea we're presenting, and we're missing. So, what are we providing? We want to provide a solution which addresses the mental health issue of parents who are taking care of their children with depression. And the reason we focus on this community is because while they're taking care of others, their own mental health is often neglected, where they're taking in a lot of negative emotion and constant physical fatigue. So, we want to create a place where they can find information in one place and also connect with each other for support. We create an app called Carer, which stands for 2 things. One is that our users are carers. 2 is that we care for them too. So how this app will look like? A big blue C here. And then in the app, we have 3 functions. One is tell me, one is connect me, and the third is ask us. Tell me is a place to find information all in one place. Today, there's a lot of resources out there online, and we want to group all the links together by themes such as anorexia, insomnia, self-harm. And in Connect Me, people can find support groups and events nearby their location. And we will use Facebook groups and also events for this. And while people meet, they can also, the users can also add each other directly on Facebook in the app. Finally, in Ask Us, like everybody else, we want to create a chatbot where people can find frequently asked questions such as, what if my child doesn't eat? And if there are questions we cannot answer ourselves, we will direct them to professional help locally. Finally, the big black space in the middle will be the feed. So we will always ask the user how they are feeling. Because again, we want to take care of the feeling of the parents themselves. And based on their answers, we will direct them to coping strategy, events, and also success stories with other parents. We want to promote this app both online and offline. Online, we will leverage Facebook's technology to find us potential audience based on their social activity, and we will put this app in their feed. Offline, we will partner with schools, and we will explain to the teachers about the benefit of this app and ask them to hopefully include a little QR code in a newsletter they send to parents, which talk about the risk of depression. We believe the mental health of children depend on the mental health of their parents, and we hope this app can help both. Special thank you for Julia, Chrissy, and also Callum, and also Yuri, who helped us to make this happen. Thank you.
One question, please. Okay, so the teams that didn't have time for Q&A, we're going to award you a additional set of bonus points. So we're going to try and make up. So we're going to try and offset the Q&A time you didn't get. So that might work in your favor. Who knows? Okay, that is it. Those are all 14 teams. While we are quickly tallying up, we're going to go to some of the mentors that have been here all day and have stuck around. Thank you so much. Firstly, to Alex Potter, just some thoughts. What do you like? What did you not like? Before the judges do your scores. Don't name names until the judges put their scores up.
Yeah, no, of course.
But what do you think?
Well done, everyone. You all did an amazing job. The one thing I would say is the level of video, graphics, illustration is better than ever. Investors, accelerator directors, etc., all have bullshit detectors. You're not going to do a video that's so good you're going to get around that. So the one thing they would want to see is traction, speak to your customers, who of you went out of the building talk to your customers or potential customers or clients. Do that as much as you can, do it a bit more if you can. So I would have liked to see a little bit more of that. But apart from that, they're all stunning and fantastic. So great job, everyone.
Thank you. And Johan, any thoughts? Any teams that stood out for you?
Yeah, no, I think, echoing your words, really great job, everybody. Fantastic for taking your Saturday to do this. Really agreeing in that you can always do more in terms of getting your idea past sort of the point of no return, reaching out to people, sending emails, calling. Some teams did get on sort of their Facebook and their Messenger, whatever, and started getting that customer data, that interaction directly. It was also super interesting to see some of the teams really working super smoothly together in a very consultative way, whereas others sort of were more kind of butting heads a little bit. So for me, that was super interesting info. So thanks for indulging me that as well.
Frederick, you were also a mentor and you were not involved as a participant in one of the teams, so tell us how you found the thing.
So I was really impressed with the level of the participant, with the level of professionalism and teamwork and the sheer range of ideas that was presented, and it's extremely inspiring experience.
Thank you. Are there any other mentors I can't see that are still here? Who are judge? Yeah, why not? Chrissy, go for it.
I said to a couple of people, the fact that you guys come in the room gives me hope for the future of our planet and the people in this planet and my children. So I just want to say thank you so much. Brilliant. And as an organisation, we have a huge network. If any of you want to take this further, I know that the panels want to take this. We'd love to make all these projects real. So get in touch with us and we will do anything we can to help you. Thank you so much.
Okay. So guys, Tala, Elona.
I'm just really very impressed. I think for many people who have no technology background, this was a very successful hackathon. So congratulations to you. For whom was this the first sort of hackathon? Wow. Right. Awesome. Hope to see you all in Oxford or online.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't come to you, Elona, because you helped on the teams, but thank you for your reflections. Are we ready to go? Do we drum roll? No, that's asking too much. This is good. No. In the pub. Okay, Saf, who's gonna do this? So just to recap, they have been verified very extensively by multiple parties. We're gonna announce the top 3, and we're gonna announce the winner last. So, Tala and Saf, do you guys want to do that?
So this was an incredibly close win, but Sure. But we are considering 2 teams actual winners. Winners get bags with t-shirts and notebooks, but also you'll have the support from One Young World to kind of help it move forward, but we absolutely want all of them to move forward, so we'll help all of you, so that's fine. Please keep in touch afterwards. But in 3rd place, and this was terribly close with 80 points, was Team Casey. And then 2nd place with 83.6 points was Team Anan. I wish I knew the names of the products that you guys have.
Could you stand up so we know what that is?
Yeah.
Well done, guys. And the big winner with 84.9 points, Team Markle.
everyone.
Yeah, forget it. I just want to do a very, very quick thank you to the Facebook team. We've had Jose and thank you so much. There was really, Julia, thank you so much, and Zane, who wasn't with us today, but thank you so much for helping us out. Also, I just want to say thank you to Charlie and Sephora for all the mentors and judges. Can please stand up just to thank you so much for all your dedication today.
And of course, one final thank you to Tala, who's put in all this. This is the first time we've ever done a hack style caucus. We do many caucuses around Europe. This is the first time we've ever done a social hack. We put our faith in you. You did an amazing job. Thank you for all the hard work. I hope you guys have had a great time. Please share your experience on social media. And we're going to do a photo. Is it going to be inside or outside in the end?
Here,
Okay, we're going to do it here. So